Alright folks, and welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather, and this is hashtag AFL Table Talk. Welcome to my prediction special, which happens every Thursday, every week, leading up to the grand final. Basically, this one that we're going over now is round 21, 2019 in the AFL ladder. First up, Friday night, on the 9th of August, we have 5th place GWS Giants versus the Hawthorn Hawks, who are sitting in 12th right now at the UNSW Canberra Oval. Alright, Giants are off the back of 3 wins in a row. Obviously, they narrowly won in the Sydney derby at the weekend, last weekend, against Sydney. 83-81, very, very tight affair. They were missing Jeremy Cameron before the game, which was a huge blow, and I think that was probably one of the reasons why they didn't win by a more convincing scoreline. But they got the job done, they got the win. That was 3 wins in a row now, and they lost the 2 before that, so the 3 wins in 5, and the opposite way of form for the Hawks. They have 2 losses and then 3 wins before that. So I've actually put this down here, going into the Hawks last week. What was their scoreline again? They lost to North Melbourne 86-64, and that dropped them from 11th to 12th place. I've put the Giants down for the win. I just think they're too strong. They're finding a bit of form now. I don't see the Hawks making the top 8, unfortunately, for any Hawthorn fans there, but I just think that the Giants will be the finishing blow for them, and victory Giants anyway. Saturday the 10th then. First up, we've got Melbourne, the D's, the Demons, versus Collingwood, the Magpies. Melbourne going into this are 17th. They've remained in and around 16th, 17th spot for most of the year, haven't they? And Collingwood sits 6th. Collingwood have dropped from 2nd, and they've really, I mean, they're not a million miles away, but they really have dropped in form. This is at the MCG. Melbourne are going into this with 4 losses in a row and a win before that, and Collingwood's form's kind of all over the place. They've won, lost, won, lost. They've only 2 wins in 5. I know they've got an awful lot of injuries. I think there's another couple of players out. On top of their ever-growing injury list. If Melbourne were going to get any joy, it'll be down to the fact that Collingwood have a really weakened squad right now. But I still think that Collingwood, like last week, will have too much. Last week they were playing with a weakened squad against the Gold Coast Suns, who are down at the same. They're 18th. I mean, they've got like so many losses in a row going into that. But they got the win 120-51. It was a perfect time for Collingwood to get that game, and I think likewise Melbourne's another one of those for Collingwood. Back-to-back victories now for them, I predict. So win Collingwood. Next up then, we've got Port Adelaide, the Power, versus Sydney Swans. Power are 9th, they're off the back of a win last week, and the Swans are 15th, obviously, as I mentioned, got beat off the Giants in the Sydney derby. It is at the Adelaide Oval, so it will favour the Power. I do see Power actually coming out victorious on this. They were absolutely outstanding against the Bombers last week. So many players stepped up individually, but as a collective, they've got the job done and demolished Essendon 126-67, which was a mind-blowing scoreline to say the least. Power have won, lost, won, so they've 2 and 5, and the Swans have lost 5 in a row now. So not only would I have picked the Power anyway, based on the fact that they're at home, they've got a couple of wins, but the Swans can't buy a win. They really were struggling last week. There was a couple of players that did step out, and Blakey's good, and Papley's good, Big Reedy's alright. There's a couple other guys as well to mention that didn't have bad games, but right now as a team, I really do feel they're missing Lance Buddy Franklin to kick some goals for them, and just a big target man up there. You know, when you need a bit of experience at this time of the year, you need those sort of players, and I think it's all going horribly wrong for Swans. It has been a big loss for them anyway. I'm not saying that's the only reason, it's just he's a big time player at the end of the day, and to lose him at vital stages in the year like this is proof. Well, 5 losses in a row says it all. Power win. Okay, next up, Brisbane Lions against the Suns. You know who's going to win. Brisbane Lions have got, I think, 7 straight wins in a row now. What was their scoreline at the weekend? It was actually a good game. I watched that one live. It was Lions Bulldogs. They won 98-80 against the Bulldogs at the Gabba last week. They're at home again. They're at the Gabba. I think this could be 100 odd pointer again. Probably about 120 to 40 or 50. Let's say 120-55. That's what we'll go for. Not only am I predicting the winner, I'm trying to predict the scoreline. I think the Lions are just in cruise control right now. The Bulldogs actually played well against them, as I said, but I mean, they got the job done. The Lions got the job done. That's the difference. They're going out and they're winning. They're winning games even when they're tight. They're just winning games, and that's how you go about winning silverware. You get momentum, you win games, and then you see where they are at the end of the year. And you know what? They're doing themselves no harm. They're sitting third, joint first really on points, obviously behind on percentages, but fantastic display from the Lions. I think they finished second bottom apparently last year, so to be on this run is absolutely sensational, to say the least. Lions win. Okay, next game, Essendon versus Bulldogs. Essendon are sitting 7th, the Bulldogs are 11th. Of course, the Bulldogs really need to probably go out there now and win all 3 games, I'd imagine, to try and get top 8 spot. But whether or not I think they're going to do that's irrelevant. They're playing against Essendon. Essendon, as I said, were destroyed off the power last week, and they were already on a 5-game winning streak before that. So lost and won 4, and the Bulldogs lost 1, won. So Essendon's 4 wins out of 5, and Bulldogs are 3 wins out of 5. It is at the Marvel Stadium, so nobody's really got home ground advantage. They both are familiar with the surroundings. You could possibly say Essendon are going into this in more form. But I watched some of the highlights on how they went down to Port Adelaide, and they were pretty poor. And indeed, if you look at the 5 wins in a row, they've really fought for them. They've had to do like sort of comebacks to make the victory count, and to go about getting the victory. So I'm actually going to be able to give you a surprise prediction here. I'm going for the Bulldogs. I watched them against the Lions, and I thought they were really impressive. There was quite a few players starting to step up now. You've Norton, Bontempelli, that English is good. Just a whole wide variety of players I enjoy watching for different things. McRae in the midfield, wow, what a player he is. Him and Bontempelli are frighteningly good together. It's just a surprise. I think the Bulldogs probably are victim of having a poor start. They could possibly be in that top 8 if it hadn't been for such a poor start to the year. So, as I say, I'm going for a Bulldogs win. Let's see what happens anyway. The last game on the Saturday then is Geelong Cats, and Geelong really need to get a win here. They're really struggling at holding the top spot. It's tough at the top, guys. North Melbourne they're coming up against. North Melbourne opened up the weekend's games last week against the Hawks, and their victory, they were pretty good, won by the 22-point margin, as I said. Ben Brown kicked 4 or something. That leaves him he's closing the gap on Cameron for the Coleman medal, which is quite good as an individual, but for an individual award. But North Melbourne, I mean, do you know what? This game isn't out of their reach to go and do it. Yes, Geelong's top. North are 13th. They'll be trying to, I think they can still mathematically get into the top 8. I don't think they'll do it, but they need to win all 3 games, and probably by quite good percentages as well, I would imagine. I'm not saying that out of knowledge, I'm just guessing. This is at the GMHBA Stadium, so it's home ground advantage as well for Geelong. Their form is lost 1, lost 1, lost, and North is 1, lost 1, so they've both won 2 out of 5. I'm calling it a home victory at the Cats. Don't think it'll be a landslide by any means, but I think they'll just have enough on the day to get the job done. Geelong win. Sunday then, on to Sunday, the last 3 games of the weekend. First up, we've got St Kilda versus the Dockers. Fremantle will be absolutely buzzing with their win last week. 95-61 against the leaders, Geelong Cats. Absolutely outstanding. I mean, if you predicted a win, you never predicted a win that convincingly. That's all I'll say. Absolutely brilliant stuff. St Kilda now, obviously, they get the new sort of stand-in coach. He got the 2 wins. He's obviously lost last week now So St Kilda's forms, lost, won, won, lost. They've got 2 out of 5, and the Dockers is 1 lost, 1 lost. They've 2 out of 5 as well. It is at the Marvel, so the Dockers are going to be travelling, but I just think they'll be so rejuvenated and lifted by the absolute hammering of the Cats that I think that's going to see them through this tie. I think there's not much between them in terms of the ladder, points-wise. St Kilda's 14th, Dockers are 10th. Dockers will still be trying to get in there as well for the top 8. Who knows if they're going to be able to do it, but I do see a Dockers away win. Dockers win. So, on to the big guns. We're on to Richmond now. For me, are playing the best stuff in the AFL right now as we speak. What have they got? 6 wins in a row now. So, they're coming up. Well, 4th place they are. Carlton are 16th. Carlton were going so well there with the 3 wins in a row before last week. They obviously did get beat last week against the West Coast Eagles. It wasn't an overly... they weren't destroyed. They were beat by about 4 goals or something like that. It was 99-75 to the Eagles at the Marvel last week. This is at the MCG. Richmond have got the luck of the draw really with the home ties, haven't they? So everything's just in Richmond's favour to just go all the way. Possibly even finish before the finals in top spot. I think they probably will. I'm going to call it. It's a Richmond win again. I do like some of the footy Carlton's playing. Cripps is sensational. Young Walsh, his goal was goal of the weekend. I could name you several players that are just absolutely delightful to watch, but this game's going to be too much again, like the West Coast Eagles one. I said it last week. This game will be too much for Carlton. These are 2 teams that are slam-banging form, and they've just got the quality to go out and do it. Richmond win, no 2 ways about it. So, last game of the weekend, we've got the West Coast Eagles at home. They're in the Optus Stadium in Perth against 8th place Crows, and the Crows will be trying to hope their best with their claws, holding on with their claws dug in to try and hold that 8th spot. They're close to their city rivals, and Port Adelaide are in 9th. They will not want to get leapfrogged in the ladder by them. They'll be determined to try and hold that 8th spot, as I said. But, and there is a but here, the Crows haven't got form on their side, and West Coast Eagles are stepping up now. Their front line would... Any club would want their front line. It's a joy to watch. Their midfield's good. They're just they're a quality outfit, the West Coast Eagles, aren't they? They are reigning premiers. They're going to get the win here. That's my prediction. Eagles win. Don't know if that means Power. I would need to look at the points between Power and Crows. If my prediction's right, with Power winning and Crows losing, will they leapfrog them this weekend? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what the points is entirely. I think they could be on the same points, so I think it is probably them leapfrogging by 4 points. But anyway, all that aside, I'm going to run through my predictions for you. Okay, so my winners: the Giants, Collingwood, Power, the Lions, the Bulldogs, Geelong, the Dockers, Richmond, and the Eagles. I cannot wait, let me tell you, I cannot wait to watch this weekend's footy, because we're really winding down now to the squeaky bum time, aren't we? I mean, it's make or break teams now. I mean, if you look, as I was mentioning there, the 2 Adelaide sides, well, a couple other teams just outside that there will be looking. Essendon aren't sitting overly comfortable themselves either. So they'll be looking to try and get a win. I did predict Essendon will get defeated this week, didn't I, off the Bulldogs? So if that comes to light, Essendon could be sweating as well. So if all these predictions were to come to light, it's going to make for a really tasty last couple of rounds before the finals. I am absolutely loving every single second of this, because it is my first year experiencing the AFL. For anyone who's been following my channel for a while now, you know that I'm repeating myself here, but for new people watching my channel, this is the first time for me ever experiencing an AFL ladder, getting towards the climax now. I've never seen a finals, I've never seen a grand final. So for me personally, I can't tell you how excited I am about that. And the fact that I'm working tirelessly behind the scenes to learn as much as possible and do so many other things within the AFL, Aussie rules, history, etc. It's just an absolute joy for me, to say the least. I've just want to mention one thing before I go, slightly not AFL, well it's not AFL related, but it is channel related. I'm getting 12 hats, baseball caps. They'll be Velcro strapped, they're not going to be the flex fit, there will be adjustable caps. I'm only getting 12. Let me know if you'd be interested in buying them. I did show on my community page my new logo. You'll see it on my channel in the corner, the logo there, that's the new logo. So it's going to be a plain black cap with the white embroidered logo on the front, just plain and simple and nice, of our new channel logo on the hat. They'll cost roughly £15 plus postage and packaging, because I don't know how much it's going to be cost to ship it over till Australia or wherever you are watching this video. And if you want a cap, there will be more, don't worry if there's people who want them. The money will really help the channel. It's going, all the money that I make on this channel is going into improving the channel first and foremost, but also then on the bigger picture is to bring the channel to Australia. That's the dream, that's what I'm working hard towards. So all merchandise sales will go into making more merchandise, getting it ordered in, and able to sell more. So yes, increasing the stock and sales, but also increasing the profits to put back into the channel, to book the flights, to basically experience the AFL firsthand in Australia at a game, live with the family, doing vlogs. That's the direction our channel's going in, with the family. We're absolutely loving doing this stuff. My kids are captured by the Aussie rules when they watch it on the TV. They love it the same way as I do. And it does help. I've got kind people that will be mentioned nearer the time, when that time comes, who have donated, bought gifts and sent gifts, and are in the process of sending gifts to the channel. Some of it's for my kids as well, so let me tell you, that really means a lot that you're thinking of not just me, but my family. It is our family's channel, and as I say, we really appreciate it, and it will never be taken for granted, your support. No pressure to buy anything or donate, but as I say, it really does help. And on that note, you can become a patron, or a patron of our Patreons page, which will be in the description section below. I'm also sporting the new AFL themed mullet, which I am taking donations for on my Just Giving page, or you could just go fund us through that as well. So that's all ways that we're rolling out, trying to improve and grow the channel financially by better equipment, etc., flights, hotels, everything. But it's all becoming very much AFL based. That is becoming deep rooted into the channel now, to the point where it's nearly taken over everything else. Because I love it, what can I say? And you can check us out on our other social media platforms as well, such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know the drill anyway. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Enjoy your weekends wherever you are, and I hope your team wins, whoever you support. But ultimately, hopefully I get my predictions right, but even if I don't, I just want to enjoy the games like the rest of you as an AFL fan. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Thanks very much for tuning in again. I am the Donfather. Peace, everyone, and goodbye.